Brian Branch, has been suspended for 1 game for his smack in the mouth of JuJu Smith-Schuster during the potential dap-up era of a football game. Now,
what a picture.
I do appreciate that they say, JuJu got tossed around by his helmet and he ended up bleeding from the nose. And he obviously thought that they were going for a dap-up, even though a lot of people are showing a block from like 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game where JuJu cracks Dahn and really gets Brian Branch pretty good. I mean, this is quite a crack, quite a shot. And JuJu would say, it's tough football.
That's right.
And Branch right there would say, like, you got me in my back, though. And JuJu said, I didn't call it. So that is probably the entire interaction right there. I think JuJu potentially thought it was over at that moment. We're moving on. He's screaming the sideline, goes to dap up. Branch smacks it, says, no, actually, I'm not done with this. Hands on waist. I hate you. Boom. Shot to the mouth. Everybody wondered what was going to happen because the melee that ensued. Obviously, the NFL is going to have to figure things out. He did do a little wee toss. He did get thrown. Obviously, it's a very dangerous situation. He had camera people in there. Nobody blowing out their knee or the ankle is obviously a good thing. We assumed the NFL would do a punishment. Jalen Carter, before they even stepped foot on their first play, because of the spitting incident, he got suspended. That game basically is what they considered. A lot of people assumed this was going to be a similar situation. He's suspended for 1 game. I love that they say suspended without pay. It's like they're reminding people that suspensions, you don't get paid. Like, this is them saying he is getting fined because he's not getting paid, okay? So he's getting suspended and getting fined. Anytime somebody's suspended, they are getting fined because they're not getting paid for. So it feels like during the rollout of this, it was a reminder to people, like, we are taking money out of his pocket for this, and also he's going to be suspended. Because I was suspended for a game for a public intoxication situation, and boy, no game check. You start adding up the fines. I got a $150 fine from Marion County. I got a $29,000 fine from the NFL for a you start doing the math, it's like, oh my God. Game checks are real. Never want to hear game checks on the line for anything unless you're very sure of it. Okay? Unless you're very sure of it. But he misses a game and 1/18 of his yearly salary, which I think we all assumed was going to be the case, AJ.
Yeah, this is why you want, if you're signing a new deal, you want to have league minimum in your salary and you want your money in bonuses. So if you do get set down for a game, it may be, I don't know, $80,000 instead of $3 million if you have a huge base salary. That's one benefit of having your money come in bonuses, I feel like, and having a low salary when it comes to how it's structured. But, we're not shocked, are we, that he got suspended in the game? You don't punch that obvious. Yeah, it's going to happen. Nothing happened to JuJu, though, right? He's cool.
I assume he's going to get a money. I don't know, actually, because he's just defending himself, and he got weed around.
He did flop. But.
Yeah, BA, what do you think whenever you see this type of situation? And obviously, physical altercations, it's a physical sport. There have been fights in the history of football. I think the way this all went down had MCDC afterwards saying, that ain't who we are. This ain't what we're known for. And then Foxy, Detroit Lions fan, comes out and says, a lot of people want to smack JuJu Smith-Schuster.
A lot of people.
And Brian Branch did that. No matter how disgusting Foxy tried to turn this incident into, what are your thoughts on it all? And did you expect a 1-game suspension?
Yeah, it's going to be at least 1. I would have hoped to see more because there's no place for this. Okay. No place for this post-game. So many people could have got hurt, and that could have turned into a huge melee had other guys got involved. Thank God the cooler heads prevailed. Guys were trying to get them off the pile, stop it, instead of joining in and start throwing helmets and all the shit that can happen. I've been fine with 3 games.
Okay, so that's BA, man, who was in the NFL for 27 years. And we thought that there was going to be a big precedent set by the NFL. Media people are in there.
Yeah.
Anytime it's like, hey, these aren't our people. Like,
how did they not tear their ACL? Like, when people are getting thrown around, those camera guys, it's unbelievable. No one else got hurt in this. Like, any of the civilians on the field weren't just
There was a high stepper, I think, from a camera that got him out from underneath some stuff. And I think that is why BA is saying what he's saying, though. It's like the NFL could very easily say, hey, these aren't our people that you guys are currently potentially affecting. And also, there's a lot of shit talkers in this sport. Okay, so when the game's over, we can't have people just fighting because of what was being said or happening in the game. We thought a big precedent was going to. Now, 1 game, I think, is
huge.
That's a big deal. That is a big deal. Now, you're saying 3 games, obviously, a little bit more of a message to everybody, which I completely concur. Speaking from a player's perspective, you only have 17 opportunities a year to kind of do your thing, let alone earn the check of it all. So a 1-game suspension is a big deal. Nobody did get hurt. Right, so like that is Brian Branch's. That's Brian Branch's angle. Like, hey, You saw the camera people. I clearly was telling them to, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. You know, while I was tossing JuJu around in the head. But it was a wild scene that I don't think any of us expected in prime time.
Well, and that's my question for you, BA. Like, I get it, sure. I mean, the fact that you said 3 games is absurd to me. But, like, Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore, you were his coach. They got into it on the field. He got kicked out. I don't know what his suspension was. But this wasn't the only thing. Like, a lot of people were saying Brian Branch was kind of a piece of crap for shoving off Mahomes, you know, before he did that. But if you went back and watched the game, Mahomes, you know, points at Brian Branch after scoring a touchdown, flips the ball in front of Brian Branch after scoring a touchdown, and then flexes while staring at Brian Branch after scoring a touchdown. So, like, 3 games, okay, but, like, when Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore got into it, like, what's your messaging to the team, and what was, you know, his suspension when that happened?
It was 1 game. It was a game, 2. And I probably started that one, so.
That's fair.
But I think
I got kicked off the sideline for the rest of my career too. So
yeah, but I think what.
But no, for me, 3 games not necessarily without pay. 1 for sure. All right, but all that shit you're talking about happens between the lines. Mm-hmm. That shit goes on every week between the lines. This is outside the lines. All right, post game, most guys are praying. All right, now. You're bringing civilians in. I'm not sure there's not some cameraman that might got a kick that's going to have a civil lawsuit in here.
You're saying might have slipped and fell
Yeah.
there. I actually have some PTSD as well from what I've seen. You saw JuJu fly through the sky. His nose was bleeding right in front of me. Oh, my God. I'm not going to be able to get back out there. Yeah, it was scary. It was a scary scene. But all of it's sad. They'll move on. BA's talking, though, as a person that has been in these altercations, saying we can't be carrying what we're saying in the second quarter into the postgame. Like, that can't be. That can't be what the postgame.
Not to the bus.
There's some things that have been, like CJGJ. Let's assume that he has potentially said some things. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, or maybe fourth quarter. Hey, how about overtime? If we get an opportunity, we're going to say that. When this game ends, though, can't be fighting on field because of something that happened. Is basically what BA is implying.
Yeah.
Can't carry over the game into a time whenever it's not live action.
Yeah. But
now, if you want to meet each other in the back hallway, which has happened.
Swing away.
That has happened. You guys want to go ahead and
get out by the buses.
Yeah, you
by
want to
the
go
bus.
on the bus. We can block this thing. You guys need to handle some stuff. You got to do what you got to do. Now, wasn't that the NBA?
Yeah.
They called the police?
Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
And I think Melo.
No, Phoenix. Was it Phoenix?
No, it was Phoenix and the Clippers and Chris
Utah.
Paul. Allegedly, they were going to meet in the back or whatever, and Charles Barkley and Shaq.
Oh, yeah. That was a different one, yeah.
Yeah, there was a cops call. I think cops were called at one point because that was the whole conversation. It's like police are getting called because you guys want to fight each other in the back. Like, let's take it easy, boys. You want to throw hands. Let's do this like
by all means.
Let's do this like civilized gentlemen here. Let's rally around. Let's get our hockey sticks. Let's stick tap for this thing. It's crazy what is acceptable in one sport and not in another. And it's like you can't fight in football. And after the game, we can't have you fighting and potentially tearing out the cameraman.